Hello, Brad here, just to say we're super proud that the Friday 5pm podcast is sponsored by the Malt Miller, the UK's best home brew store.
We use the Malt Miller for all of our homebrew experiments, as well as tapping them up for advice and binging on their awesome YouTube channel all the time.
That's why whenever we release a homebrew video, we put a recipe kit live on the Malt Miller, so you can brew with the exact same amazing ingredients that we did. The same ingredients used by pro brewers.
So alongside the Malt Miller's nitro-flushed hops, cold-stored yeast and milled-to-order malts, you can pick up recipe kits for our 5 Points Best Bitter, Russian River West Coast IPA, and now the fastest beer in the world, a hazy session IPA that goes from grain to glass in less than 48 hours.
Sign up to their newsletter at tinyurl.com/Malt Miller to get 5% off your first order. With the Malt Miller's amazing customer service and Johnny's 48-hour recipe, you could order the ingredients on a Monday and be drinking the beer by the weekend.
Speaking of which, it's Friday.
It's 5pm.
So enjoy this week's Friday 5pm podcast. Good afternoon, beer geeks. I hope you're safe and you're well and that you have acted responsibly during the first week of pubs being open. Did you go to the pub, Brad?
I said I wasn't going to go to the pub, and then I did go out in Deptford. I tried to go to the Dog and Bell, which is a great old school camera boozer, off the beaten track a little bit in Deptford. And I just couldn't get in the door. It was absolutely rammed. And I felt a little bit unsafe in that environment. So what did I do? I had a few street beers with some mates. And I did check out a little new beer bar that's opened up in Deptford also. So but I was kind of safe. And I didn't feel too kind of hemmed in when I was there. I was in a little garden space. But yes, I really hope everybody was super duper sensible.
I think my impression of it was that nationally it was pretty sensible. There were obviously some hot spots and some people acting really irresponsibly. There were some shocking photos from Soho. But I went for a quiet pint on a Wednesday afternoon at the Pembury, which is owned by 5 Points, mostly just so that I could see how close my homebrew bitter was. It was pretty close.
Pretty fucking close,
It is
mate.
a very different beer, but it was pretty close.
Pretty close.
So yeah, I had some quiet pints there, plotting some plans, which we'll be revealing soon with a rather wonderful pro Patreon of ours.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I was really impressed with how it was held.
I was impressed too, but I tell you what, I wasn't impressed that you told me you didn't get a pizza from the Pembury, because they're friggin' amazing.
Yeah, well, yeah, we just got distracted by the pints, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Okay, I see where your attention lies. So that was your first
I've had
pub
pizza
pint,
during
guys.
lockdown. I haven't had a lot of cask ales, so
That's true.
I drank their railway porter, which is a beautiful, roasty, fruity, biscuity cask porter, and I think I had 3 pints of it.
Oof, nice.
Yeah, it was amazing. But yeah, I'm not going to be going to the pub at weekends or anything like that yet. I think I'm not so desperate I have to go, so I'm going to reduce the crowd by 1.
Good on
and just
you, mate.
stick to, as a freelance writer, I have the privilege of being able to go, I'm just going to go to the pub at 3 because it'll be quiet. And I recognise that's not true for everybody, so I'll let them have it at the weekends.
Yeah, man. Very nice.
Yeah. Anyway, this is all UK-centric content, which is deeply unfair on the 1 or 2 American listeners we have. So it is Friday 5pm. I hope you guys have cracked a beer to enjoy this wonderful unedited nonsense. Shall we start off by talking about our big news this week, which is our live show tomorrow?
Yeah, man. Pretty excited about this one, I must say. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, so this live show, we're doing it with Glen Affric Brewery, who were our first ever pro Patreon, and we love their beers and love their space up in Birkenhead, just across the river from Liverpool. And we challenged them to brew a non-pastry stout. So we wanted to see how close you could get to these big, sweet, kind of nostalgic dessert-based beers without actually using any adjuncts. So using only traditional beer ingredients, which we include sugar in that. We had some people going, you've used an adjunct, you've used Demerara, is it Demerara sugar?
It was I'm saying Damascus, but that's a type of sword. That's a type of steel.
And it's a
not
place.
Damascus. Demerara. Was it Demerara?
Demerara?
Oh
I think
my
it was
god!
Demerara
It's
sugar.
the
Muscovado. It was
Muscovado.
Muscovado sugar.
That's the one. That's potent stuff. That Muscovado, isn't it?
Yeah,
Blimey.
deep treacly stuff.
Whew.
So we brewed this beer inspired by the Tunnocks wafer because the guys who own Glen Affric Brewery are Scottish, and we're going to be doing a live tasting of it next night. Good Lord, Johnny! Tomorrow.
Next night. Are you still on the? Are you still in the Pembury? Are you pissed?
I mean, it would be very quiet if that was the case.
I'm super hyped about this one. My beers still haven't arrived, which is slightly worrying. But have yours arrived?
No, but I have faith. I have faith in Glen Affric.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
We like flying by the seat of our pants.
Yeah. I think what I might do when we're getting going on the live show and we were with a few beers in, I think I might bite each end off of a Tunnocks bar and use it as a straw.
Yes.
Whoa.
I have had that idea as well.
Oh, that's going to be good.
We're going to have to give that a go for sure. I used to do it with
penguins
Kit Kats.
are good. Oh, Kit Kats.
Penguins do it as well.
Penguins you can do it. Yeah, penguins are good with like a hot drink. Apart from it'll just disintegrate and melt in your hands.
Yeah, you only have a couple of seconds.
But that's sublime. I used to love doing that with biscuits.
And it's flying by the seat of your pants. You know, that's the way we live.
Hell yeah.
Risking penguins falling in our tea.
Maybe we need to do a biscuit and pastry stout matching video.
Do you know, I'm about 90% sure somebody commented that exact thing on one of our crisp and beer matching. Like, you need to do traditional British biscuits and beer.
Yeah, man.
I'm
so up for that.
That sounds like great content.
Now I've fallen off the wagon and I'm having biscuits back in my house. Is
that right? The biscuit ban is over?
Well, it's only over because I went into a slight panic a very big panic at the start of lockdown. Just worried about the world, and my anxiety went through the roof. So I just sort of panic-ate. So I'm not looking as svelte as I was at one point, which is very upsetting. But good news though, they've just announced they're going to open up all the swimming pools again. So that is my preferred method of exercise. So I'm gonna have to get back.
Preferred method of burning off biscuits.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna have to try and kick the biscuits to the curb and get back in the pool if I'm brave enough. Just a bit worried about all those juices. Everyone's juices are in the pool, mate. I'm just a bit like...
Well, I think the pool's pretty safe. It's so chlorinated. It's the changing rooms you've got to be careful with.
Yeah. That's...
Maybe go ready changed in flip-flops and T-shirt.
Yeah, it's bringing back secondary school memories, being worried, fearful of the changing room. And, dodgy, weird teachers and whatnot in a boys' school.
Did you have dodgy, weird teachers?
Yeah, there was definitely one. He was like, well, I don't want to use the not very nice term, but he was definitely a wrong 'un. And he used to watch you go through. He used to watch every boy go through the showers. And if you didn't go, if you weren't in there long enough, he'd make you go back through it. I mean, how is that allowed? How is that allowed?
I don't think it is now, Brad. I don't think it is.
Fucked. And this was a normal school. This wasn't like... Anyway... Let's not go down that route, but...
And this is why Brad eats biscuits.
Yeah. So, mate, I can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be epic.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be even more fun. Not only are we tasting through this beer, which, by the way, we sold out of the cases. There's still some beers, individual beers left online, but we put 100 cases for sale, and they sold out in a matter of days. So thank you so much to everyone that's bought one. We get a little bit of profit from that, so that's supporting us. So bless you all.
Yes.
So we've also got a special guest who's going to add some chaos and hilarity to the proceedings in the form of Simon Martin of Real Ale Guide. So in that tasting box is a collaboration that he did with Glen Affric as well. It was a fruited sour. So he's going to be joining us for a segment of the live show while we taste through his beer, probably around about 9 o'clock if that's what you're really interested in.
He has got a good name, hasn't he, for that beer? I do appreciate it.
Stone the Goser.
Stone the Goser.
Which is, nice. If you don't know, his catchphrase is "Stone the Crows" when he loves a beer.
Yeah. So he could pronounce it "Stone the
pub club.
Yeah.
Do you know the name of his digital pub club?
No, go on.
So it's called the Stoned Crow.
Oh, okay, like a pub name. I did know that actually. I did know that.
He's got wordplay skills.
It's not as good as Jamie. We both used to work for Jamie Oliver. Jamie Oliver had a pub on wheels, which was a converted military truck, which was amazing. I think it even had a wood-fired oven in it.
It did, yeah.
And that was called the Cock-Insider, which is obviously not very PC these days.
I'm surprised Channel 4 let that slide.
I know, right? It was like I think it was pre-Watershed. It was on like 8 in the evening, and they used to just pan up to the Cock-Insider, and he would just relish saying that phrase. Let's go
really
to the Cock-Insider.
The Essex boy in him just absolutely reveling in the euphemism.
Bless him.
Yeah, bless him indeed. So yes, that live show tomorrow. We promise lots more penis jokes. We'll be live at 8 p.m. over on our YouTube channel, and also possibly live on Facebook as well. We're hopefully sorting that, buying ourselves a premium membership to StreamYard. Ooh. We're going up in the world. But no, can't confirm that. We'll check it works. So yeah, I don't know why I said that. Might have to edit it out. No, I'll leave it. Seat of our pants. That's my new catchphrase. I don't even know what the seat of your pants is. Is that it's the bum bit? It's the back bit.
I guess it's sort of flying by the seat of your pants. I presume is you haven't got a plane underneath you. Your pants are not particularly wide, so they wouldn't be a very good method of propellant, would they? They wouldn't give you much uplift.
Not very aerodynamic or
No. So maybe it's just the very precarious nature of flying through the air without wings.
With literally no way to stay in the air. Right.
Yeah. I'm guessing that.
Okay.
I'd love to be proved wrong. I don't know. I've never really taken that one and dissected it like that, but it's a great expression.
Well, now feels like the time, you know? Definitely on a podcast where people are here to talk about beer, we should just be talking about the possible etymology of the phrase by the seat of your pants.
I'd quite like to do one of those in every podcast, actually. I love the English language and odd expressions. Maybe we can...
Well, we did it last time with marshmallow, didn't we?
We did. We sure did. We should make it a thing.
It's becoming a thing. Okay. Well, guys, send us weird words that are slightly beer related or something we've said, and we'll just waste your time for 15 minutes if you want. If that's how you want this podcast to go, we're open to it. So yeah, we've got that live show tomorrow. You can tune in 8 p.m. The link is in the show notes.
Nice.
Then on the 24th of July, we've teamed up with Wild Beer Co. to do another one.
Hell yeah.
We love Wild Beer Co. We did a video with them quite recently about their first ever sort of Gers-inspired cool shit beers. I tell you, that is the best spontaneous beer in the country. So if you can find some, it's super rare. It's very, very worth picking up and paying the price for. I think it's about 18, 20 quid. But it was absolutely delicious. And off the back of that, we decided to do a special tasting with them on the 24th of July at 7 p.m, I think. It's a Friday, that one.
Awesome. They're kind of a bit of a stalwart, aren't they? They've been around for many years.
Yeah, they're one of the originals, 2011 or 2012.
Yeah.
And have always stuck to, obviously they produce clean beer, but they've always been very focused on mixed fermentation, which is not easy. It's not a good business idea, that's for sure.
Not in 2011, that's for sure,
No, exactly, yeah. So their first beer was a Flemish Red, which is just bonkers.
Wowza.
It would be bonkers now to come out with a Flemish Red, as you call beer. But they've brought some stuff out of their aging cellars to put in a box, specially for us. So some rare beer that's never been released, that's been aging away, and we'll be able to confirm the details on all of that next week, and you can buy the box from them. I think that box goes on sale on Monday. So do
awesome.
Grab that box if you're a Wild Ale fan. There'll be some special stuff in there.
Amazing. You did a live show last night as well, didn't you, Johnny? Which
I did do a live show.
I couldn't tune into it. I was having a bit of a domestic, but tell us who you were working with, Johnny. I was quite intrigued.
Yeah, so as you know, me and Brad still can't earn enough money through craft beer channel at the moment. So I do a lot of writing for Good Beer Hunting, and I also do some consultancy. So I've been working with Yonder Brewing and Blending, who we did a video with just over a year ago, I think. That's how we met those guys.
Lovely video. I really enjoyed doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we went foraging with them, and then we're there for the brew day of a Nettle Pilsner.
Yeah.
They've relaunched their core range, which I've been helping with the digital strategy for. So I did a live show with them over on their Instagram last night, and we tasted through their they got an amazing raspberry gosa, so a salted raspberry sour beer. It's not a quick sour, it's a mixed fermentation beer, so it's lovely and complex, but if you chill it right down like you would a lager, boy, is that smashable.
Lovely.
And then they also do foraged wild saison, so I was drinking a saison with woodruff.
Nice.
If you don't know Woodruff, it's
like a German type thing, right? They have
they use it in Germany. It's the
yeah.
green cordial that they used to put in Berliner Weisses.
Yeah.
But like sweet Woodruff in the UK, it smells like it's kind of aniseedy, minty, almost Chervil, if you know Chervil, and cinnamony as well. It's got the same chemical compound as tonka beans, which tonka beans just smell like Christmas.
Yeah, man.
So it's got a bit of that as well. It's a really beautiful aroma, and the beer is fantastic.
Amazing.
So we're tasting through that. And Stu is, he's very dry, but he's incredibly knowledgeable and hilarious when he wants to be. So he's a great live show guest. So we're going to do another one, I think, when they're releasing 3 more beers in about a month's time.
Real.
Whenever we do these things, I share them on our Twitter, so make sure you follow us on Twitter. That's probably the best place to find out about me doing these random things. And had a great chat with them. I'll put the link to our video with Yonder in the show notes as well, because that was a lovely video. Just us moping around the Mendips, eating stuff off the floor, basically.
Yeah, it was a bit Bear Grylls, wasn't it? Well, actually, it was more. What's his name? Pre-Bear Grylls, the much better guy, Tubby guy. Love him.
Tubby.
He's a little bit tubby. He's a little bit Ray Mears. No, hang on. What did I? Yeah, Ray Mears.
Yeah. Ray Mears.
Yeah. I love Ray Mears.
Yeah, a bit Ray Mears, definitely.
Yeah, Ray Mears is more like kind of like truly a bushman living off the land, whereas what's his face, Bear, is more of a showman. And
he's Hollywood survival.
Yeah,
Ray Mears is. Even though, I mean, isn't he head scout? I think Bear Grylls now, so he's got his roots.
But that's because I think isn't he religious, and the scout movement is vaguely religious. I think that's why.
I was a scout for a decade. I don't remember it being.
I think it's
religious. It was a bit patriotic. I don't remember.
He is a little bit
much
patriotic.
Religion, but definitely
it's definitely patriotic.
The flag.
Yeah. I think in times of war, they would probably employ, if it got really desperate, there'd be cubs manning machine gun posts.
I thought you were going to say like slingshots.
No, I think they'd give them fully automatic weapons.
Damn, I'm glad I was a scout in peacetime.
Yeah. I think they would be called upon in times of absolute desperation. So you better hide those patches, mate. If you got some serious warfare friendly patches, you want to hide that from your records.
Okay, good. Another rabbit hole. Should we get to the video? We've waffled for 17 minutes, and we haven't even talked about this week's video.
I'm having a lot of fun waffling today.
Yeah, you are on waffle-form. It took you about an hour for us to go, should we do the podcast now? This week's video was one we were a bit nervous about putting out, which was as the world started opening up again, and then immediately locking down in certain parts, we wanted to do a video that explained how this is actually the most dangerous time for businesses. So throughout lockdown, all of these businesses have had loads and loads of support from the government, as much support as, people could give them through ordering online and stuff like that. But now that the government support is being withdrawn, but these pubs still can't be at capacity, and these breweries still can't sell huge amounts of beer because the pubs aren't at capacity, now is the most dangerous time. It's when we're going to see all the redundancies. It's when all the breweries are going to pour away all the beer that's now wasted and have to suddenly produce lots more with skeleton staff and with low demand. So we wanted to put together a video saying, what can we do to help this situation?
Yeah, man.
And we came up with 4 points, which was, more than ever, buy independent.
Yeah.
Less than ever, trash people online on Untapped. Be understanding. What was the phrase? Tell the brewer, not the world, when you have a bad beer.
That's it.
Point 3. I forget point 3. What was point 3?
Oof. Don't believe the hype.
Don't believe the hype. There we go. Yeah. So spread who you're buying from. Don't just go to the guys that have all the hype. There's, in the UK, there's 2,500 breweries. In America, there's 8,000 breweries. Around the world, there's 40,000 breweries. Many thousands of those make sensational world-class beer. We don't always have to go to the same people. So spread the money, spread the love. and you might discover some new guys. And then the final point was champion those doing sustainability right, both because that's going to help the financial situation of the industry and the reputation of the industry, and because it's going to help the world. Because global warming's lost a bit of the limelight of late due to COVID. But even COVID is nature going, do you know what? There's a lot of people here, and I can spread very quickly. So we need to look after our environment and look after our people much better than we have done in the past. And so we were nervous about putting that out. It's slightly political. I think all beer is political. I don't buy this idea that you should just stick to beer anyway. But it was very political. It was very opinionated. And the response was, except for some dude saying recycling's a waste of time, I asked him to explain. He couldn't. It was universally positive.
Yeah. I mean, it went down about as well as we could have hoped. I think it's a video that we had to do, because if we don't do these things, we're gonna lose. We're all gonna lose. We're gonna lose these businesses. They're not going to be around if we don't offer them the support. They're kind of on crutches at the moment, and they're going to be for a good while in a recovery period where they're kind of a little bit hobbled. With the footfall and everything that's going on. So we kind of just need to keep raising that as a point, I think. Because, mate, I mean, I want to go back to my favourite boozers. I want to hear of new breweries opening. I don't want to hear about closures, man. This is what I'm really worried about.
Yeah, I mean, there already are loads of closures. My favourite example, or should I say least favourite example, is there's a brewery in Munich that's closing in September. They survived the Great Plague. They're nearly 500 years old. Yeah. They survived the Great Plague of Europe.
Bubonic plague, yeah.
They survived 2 cholera outbreaks, 2 world wars, and coronavirus got them.
Fuck. That's not good, is it?
That's the situation we're in. This is unprecedented danger on these independent businesses. So if we want them to still be around, we need to buy as much as we can and make sure that all of our dollars, our pounds, our euros, whatever it is, are going into independent businesses that don't have these cash reserves to make it through the trickiest times.
Yeah, man.
So the best comment, I mean, there were so many comments on this video, like hundreds and hundreds. So apologies, we can't go through all of them. But the one that I wanted to get to in the podcast was by Alex Hay, who asked if we had a view on private equity investment in relation to buying independent. Because, obviously when we talk about independents, everyone thinks we're talking about macro breweries, buying them out. And they have a lot of anti-competitive practices. They're trying to reduce the route to market. They're trying to buy out the ones that are being successful. They're putting pressure on pricing to price out these smaller guys. But private equity, in theory, shouldn't be doing that. They're just investment firms, right, who are giving money to businesses and hoping they grow.
True.
But on the flip side of that, obviously, they need them to grow because their modus operandi, their reason for being, is to make money. So how does that affect the quality of the beer? How does that affect the decisions that are made within that business? And also, what happens when they want to cash in? They want to sell those stocks for profit. Who do they sell it to? Because then it's up to them. It's not up to the brewery. So are all these private equity investments that are happening, like most famously in BrewDog, the people who own shares in Pop Chip and Vitamin Water now earn it's about just shy of 25% of BrewDog. BrewDog don't have a say over what happens to that 25% of their business now. That could just be sold to Heineken, and suddenly they'd be like, "Oh,
fuck!" That'd mess with their marketing a little bit, wouldn't it? Jeez,
it certainly would.
I've got to hope that such a clever man as James probably has written something into the contract that has said this can never go to a macro brewery. Your share. I imagine he would have.
It's possible.
He would have made it ironclad to stop that, because that's their whole shebang. They couldn't be doing that.
But I mean, you say that, they have just signed a distribution deal with Molson Coors in Ireland. So feels like the independents' wheels are coming off and being replaced by giant macro tractor tyres. I don't know.
I don't know either, man. I mean, I wouldn't want to speculate. I don't know as in and out as you. All I know is they still seem to be trying to do lots of good things for the world and for everybody even if it's
on the
pure
flip side, they've
marketing,
been doing loads for sustainability.
Yeah. Like they're just talking about doing like totally wind powered breweries and fucking electric hub pickup drive through places.
I mean, clearly they've sat down and they've gone, right, we're now pretty much the big guy.
Yeah.
How do we say we're big, but we're not big like those guys? And I think they might have picked sustainability as, I'm not trying to be too cynical. It probably was a marketing thing. They probably sat down and went, how do we separate ourselves? And they've picked a very important issue, and I applaud them for that. But that might be the way that they're thinking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean, he's a great businessman, but I do think he's probably coming from a good place as well, having hung out with the guy a little bit. He's, he's obviously eyes of a shark, shrewd kind of guy. But I think... I mean,
we should never say that being a shrewd businessman means you can't be an ethical person.
Exactly.
They're not strictly mutually exclusive. It's just
think
sadly...
it probably makes you be a better ethical person if you truly are an ethical person. If you're that good a businessman, you could probably do a lot of great in the world. So I always try and look on the positive of these things. Look for the best in people. So hopefully, and that's the same with any of these guys. Like obviously we're big fans of Alchemist and Kimmich over there, who's leading the way. But I think hopefully it's going to be more of a thing going forward. I'm interested to see which other breweries might take up the torch, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, the more the merrier. It really needs to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, that comment from Alex Hay really got us thinking. We had a good long chat with him, and it's worth digging out that comment. If you go watch the video, which is in the show notes. My response to him was kind of that, at the Craft Beer Channel, we see independence as a sliding scale, not an absolute. So Brewdog aren't entirely independent anymore, but they're significantly more independent than Beavertown, who are half owned by Heineken, who are a horrible company. But they're significantly more independent than Goose Island, who are wholly owned by AB InBev. So, this idea of independence being an absolute is kind of a nonsense.
Yeah.
And that's how we sort of see the most helpful way of looking at it. And all you can do once you know it's a sliding scale is just look at what the business's practices are. And if they're ethical, then you should buy from them, regardless of size. If they're doing good in the world or good for the world, then their ownership is less important than that, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Good. Sorry, I didn't want to speak for Brad, but turns out I did. He agrees. Right. Well, that's the end of our podcast. We're at 26 minutes. This is the longest one we've ever done.
Bumper.
So apologies for keeping you all from your Friday nights. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you'll join us tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on our YouTube channel for us using Tunnocks as straws to drink beer for 2 hours.
That biscuit is not... The infrastructure of that biscuit is not going to hold for 2 hours, mate.
No, but we're going to have lots of biscuits.
Oh, yeah. I wonder how long... Well, I'm going to put a stopwatch on tomorrow when I'm doing it. I'm going to see how long the integrity lasts. There's so many layers of caramel in there. I think that's almost like a building beam, like an iron bar that you would use to build a substructure of a house or a block of flats. I'm trying to think what they're called. The H-bar things. Can't remember what they're called. No, I've gone off on one. Sorry.
All you're trying to say is that you reckon the Tunnocks will have some structural integrity.
I reckon that is up there in the integrity of biscuit steaks. I can't think of one that's going to last better than a Tunnocks, to be honest.
Well, the only way to know for sure is to tune into our live show tomorrow night, guys. So have an amazing weekend. We'll see you tomorrow night, and if not, we'll see you Wednesday for our next upload. Lots of love, guys.
Bye-bye.
The Bubble Podcast is brought to you by the nerds behind YouTube's Craft Beer channel. Head to youtube.com/the Craft Beer channel to watch this week's video and over 400 more exciting episodes. If you love what we do, please do subscribe and even join our Patreon at patreon.com/craftbeer channel. Love and beer.